Alright, I'm back once again. This time I'm going to talk about the last weekend's results in the quarterfinals in the World Championship of League of Legends 2016. Uh, it was pretty much some very one-sided matches, at least when you look at the scoreboards and as well when you look at the matches themselves. So this might not be the most thorough ana- analyze analyzing of the matches themselves, but I hope you enjoy it as well. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling for words. I'm just thinking on the yeah. I'm just thinking too much right now. I just watched the football match. I'm sorry, um, but I'm going to try to walk through them. SKT basically owned Royal Never Give Up, even though Royal Never Give Up came up with a brilliant first game where they clearly had the best draft. SKT were constantly on the back foot and had to respond, and they had a massive problem in the top lane where Looper got, not Looper, I'm sorry, where Duke got absolutely crushed in lane, and basically, once they solved that problem in the last 3 games, they had an absolute dominating performance. So you could basically say that once SKT never didn't lose the lanes, they were clearly far and away the best team on the playing field, and you could see that as well in the first game, because Royal Never Give Up gave SKT a chance to get back in the game. Or in a way, SKT gave themselves a shot at getting back, even though they were so far behind. But they can always trade. Somehow, they always get a favorable trade or stall it out, at least giving themselves a chance, not just faltering completely when they get behind, which at least many of the Chinese teams does, and they just throw their corpses basically to the opponents and basically speed up their own demise. And you gotta give some props to SKT for the way they're playing the game. When they have ward control, you can't win against them. It's so simple. You have to have more pressure on the jungle. You can't allow it to be that simple for blank to walk around. It's you gotta have complete control over all the lanes, and you have to be the pushing. You don't want SKT to be able to set up the wards, because once they got the vision control, they're simply too smart to give up big plays. They are like a football team. Once they're set up, like the Minnesota Vikings at the moment, you don't get back into the game. You might have one in a million shot, but they're not going to give you some stupid plays up. So that's like the not the professionalism, but in a way it is the way they're playing. They're not making small mistakes bigger just because they're frustrated, and you can see that from at least the Royal Never Give Up. When once they got behind in this series that there were no coming back. And now on to the next one. Rocks Tigers, Edward Gaming. You could call this the Peanut series. It was absolutely amazing, at least in the last game. And Olaf, I know that's maybe too easy to say, but I don't. At least when I watched the series, I didn't feel like Edward Gaming actually got anything, got any kind of. I'm just not feeling that they they have what it takes. They got Deft, and he's an absolutely fantastic AD carry, but I'm not seeing it. Clearlove got absolutely destroyed, in my opinion, in the jungle. Scout got nothing to say in this series. He's not good enough for this level. I'm sorry, you can't win over this, at least when you're playing this style where you're not focusing. You're not focusing on map plays. You're focusing on lane heavy stuff, and you can't just make a scaling comp to try to provoke mistakes from the opponent. They're not going to give it up, at least not when rocks. And they are all in rocks. And I love it because it's not that controlled style, not so much a controlled style, which the other two Korean teams got. They got like more a good kind of mix, a hybrid between the Chinese League of Legends and the more aggressive Chinese aggressive style and the Korean not giving up big plays. It's so simple. They're not making stupid mistakes, but they're not that great at stalling the game either. But they can always get back into the game, and they're not making stupid drafts mistakes. So I think once they could keep depth and the bot lane down, there were no coming back. Mouse got no chance in the top lane whatsoever. Even though I feel like, let me see, I don't feel like that Smep is playing to his best at the moment. But once they get him back and rolling, it's going to be a massacre. I think the only liability on this team is Kuro in the mid lane. He's not that great, in my opinion. He can hold himself, but not much more. And that's a problem if Peanut can't get going. And I think that's going to be the main point of the next series for them, trying to avoid bad matchups in the jungle. Then we had the miracle of ANX, which came crashing down once they hit an opponent who got strategic view of got a strategy going into the series. They met H2K, which is an excellent team for setting up for certain matches, and I absolutely I absolutely believe that they had no chance. They had no business in this quarterfinal. Once it actually started, they were simply just outlaned, completely out-rotated. Even though they had some lucky plays, Albus Nox, they were so far behind once they actually got something. And credit to H2K and Odo Amne, he showed up big time. I also like Yankos' play. He's always a great one to watch, and as well, you can all. I think maybe people are overrating just a tiny bit the bot lane. I do like Forgiven in the bot lane, but I'm not thinking that they're going to be so prominent in the next series they're going to have, and I still think you can. I don't think that Rio is when he got safe lanes, when he got Vladimir or something like that, you can do all right with him. But I think if you pull him onto some more uncomfortable picks, or maybe make Yankos not be so prominent in the early game, they're going to have a struggle. H2K. Then the last series was Samsung's Galaxy or Samsung, completely ass-whooping. It's Cloud9. And I'm saying it as I did before the tournament. Don't sleep on Samsung. They, in my opinion, they got at the moment a 50-50 chance of winning this championship. They are on form, and they just make it happen. They are basically, from my point of view, that they might not have the greatest individual players. Maybe you could say Crown, but they are playing so fluently together. You could see last year it was coming from a mile off, and they just when they solved their individual problems and became a unit and played together, you can't stump them in lanes at all, and they are so great in team fights. And I completely adore Crown and Ambition. I think they are really good. The bot lane is kind of so top lane also, but those two you need to keep an eye on. So Cloud9, that they needed to do something in lanes and they couldn't, and that's more or less the key to this matter at the moment. Then we got the semifinals, got the SKT guys against the Rocks Tigers. I see the big matchup coming in the mid lane and as well as in the jungle. Um, and depending, for me, depending on what Peanut is going to play, if he got a cheesy pick or something up his sleeve, this series could actually be quite one-sided, because I believe firmly that Rocks Tigers can out team fight the SKT, but if Kuro is feeling the pressure as well as the bot lane, for me it's all about the bot and the mid. And for at least from my point of view, for Rocks Tigers, if they are going to win, they have to be solid in lanes in the bot and the mid lane. And Peanut must be a factor in this, as well as Smap. So I want Smap and Peanut to have good picks, have some pressure in the lanes, maybe have some team fighting potential, roaming. I would also suggest have Kuro on a half decent champion with wave clear. I want him to have wave clear. I'm not a fan of this risking it all, because you need to have it. Prey and Gorilla, it's going to be absolutely fun to see Gorilla. He's an immaculate player. He's totally carrying that bot lane, and I think they're going to have a fun time with Bang down there. It's going, and with Wolf, it's I can't. For me, this is the best main lane matchup in this championship, and I don't think Rocks are going to win it if they don't give a half decent trade off in the draft. So for me, it's all about Rocks not faltering in the draft, being able to go even and then punish SKT, because SKT have a tendency of going a little bit more late game scaling, and when they can't pull off the leads in the early game, I think that they are much better from playing ahead than they are from behind. You could say the same for Rocks Tigers, but I think they are better in team fights, and it could also just be a completely one-sided series if Rocks doesn't gets off to a solid start. They need to be able to have solid starts early games, else they don't got a chance. I think this series will be a tough one, 3-2, either side. I'm just going to say Rocks Tigers because I believe they are the better team. And it's all about the lane matchup for me. And of course with team fighting, and I believe firmly that they are the better team at doing that. Then we got H2K against Samsung's Galaxy. This one is going to be a real fun one in the jungle. Yankos, I gotta expect him to be focusing on the mid lane, not making it make Rio fall behind, or he could focus the top lane, which he has done quite a lot throughout this tournament. And the bot lane, I think that's the bot and the jungle is the winning combination for H2K, and where the focus should lie, and then they need to not get behind in the mid lane and the top lane. But for me, it's all about the jungle, because if they can keep track on Yankos, I don't think they got a chance at all, unless they make stupid mistakes, Samsung. For me, it's a clear 3-1 series for Samsung. I believe that they are a much better team when it gets into the mid game, but they have to get solid starts, so they need to have good lanes. Don't overextend, don't play stupid, don't play cocky, and most of all, keep track of the jungle. So they need to be prepared with vision and not just going too ham in the early game, not making stupid team fights early. Stall it for the point where they are the better team, and that's in the mid game. And for H2K, it's of course getting good lanes, getting it going, controlling the map, dictating the plays, and just keeping it simple. Maybe have a disengaged comp or CC comp with Syra or Caitlyn, the likes of that, and just keeping them at bay, and then outscale them, or just push them in constantly to the point where they have to make a play. I hope you enjoyed this video and want to check out others on my YouTube channel. See ya.